Welcome back to the review space. This is going to be my review for Smackdown Live, last night's episode, September 13, 2016. We kick off the show with AJ Styles coming out to gloat about winning the WWE World Championship at Backlash. John Cena comes out, says he wants to be 16-time World Champion, and he wants to defeat AJ Styles in order to do it. Dean Ambrose joins the two of them, gets cut down by John Cena, and Cena says Stone Cold was right about Dean on the podcast. Ambrose fell off, and then the whole crowd was like, ooh, and the whole crowd actually started chanting Cena's name. So Cena was quite over in this segment, at the expense of Dean. To which Dean replied to him and called Cena a Hollywood part-timer, and that he doesn't care what Cena has to say. I can't help but think of guys like The Rock when Dean Ambrose mentioned that particular line. Now, if that was a reference or like a thinly veiled diss towards people like The Rock, it really doesn't surprise me. Shane O'Mac finally joined the segment, and he says it'll be AJ Styles against Dean and Cena for the WWE Championship at No Mercy, and announced a tag match between AJ and a partner of his own choice against Cena and Ambrose. Later that night, the Usos defeat Hype Bros in a quick match. They do a little bit of cheating here, raking the eyes. They've turned heel, get the super kick, and then the Uso splash on Mojo Rawley. They get the 1-2-3 pinfall. The Usos win. And they were wearing white pants this time, white pants and red shirts and red shoes. So very bright and colorful instead of the black dark attire they had at Backlash, which was a little strange and almost like disappointing. Like, how come they're wearing that? Like, I thought that they would keep the black attire to make it more, to make themselves look more heelish, traditional heel attire. And I don't know what happened there. Miz and Dolph Ziggler have an in-ring back and forth promo. Dolph Ziggler wants another shot at the Intercontinental title. Without Maurice at ringside, Maurice grabbing the mic, she started talking in her French-Canadian accent. The whole crowd really came to life with this. They started booing Maurice, and she almost gave off like your typical like female heel vibe, almost like a Stephanie McMahon-ish kind of vibe. The way that the crowd just hated, I guess like just an annoying female character. And then Daniel Bryan tries to address the situation. Miz says Dolph Ziggler doesn't deserve a title shot and says he wants to negotiate his contract, and it's about what I want, it's about what I want now, I'm demanding things. And he walked out with Maurice, basically walked out of the segment. I just don't feel like this Miz versus Dolph Ziggler feud is really all that hot right now. They really need a new contender for the IC title, somebody else who can take away the IC belt from Miz with credibility. At the moment, I don't see anybody aside from somebody like Baron Corbin that can take away the championship or become a mid-card champion at the current SmackDown roster. Now, speaking of Baron Corbin, he was set to face Apollo Crews, but ended up assaulting Crews before the match really got underway. He hit the end of days on Crews outside of the ring. It was basically just a beatdown, making Apollo Crews look like a complete chump, and I would hope that Apollo Crews either turns heel or he just gets a mean streak and he develops a more serious attitude instead of the typical smile that everybody has complained about. He's always smiling, always cheesing, and at this point we need to see a more badass Apollo Crews. While Baron was taunting inside the ring, Jack Swagger's music hits. Swagger heads inside the ring. Baron dips out. He leaves as if he doesn't want any part of it. And Swagger cuts a promo saying that he was drafted to SmackDown and that you may think you know my abilities in the ring, but I promise you, you don't know Jack. I love Jack Swagger's promo. Always have ever since he debuted 6 or 7 years ago. He's not even like amazing in the way that you think of like a CM Punk or The Rock or Ric Flair or somebody like that, but his lisp and his awkward delivery is very entertaining and comical. He talked about being an accomplished amateur wrestler, a former world champion, and having a hot-ass wife. I looked her up, his wife, and his wife is, she's kind of hot, at least back in the day. She's Catalina White. That's her name, Catalina White. About 6 years ago, she was some kind of bikini model posing for like Maxim and stuff like that, but also got involved with FCW, which was WWE's developmental back in 2008. She went under the name Sailor James. She didn't last very long. and she was released in 2009. I think she only had one match, and she lost that match. Eventually, she got married to Swagger in 2011. They have one kid together, or at least one kid. All her modeling stuff was from like 8-9 years ago, 2007, 2008. She's probably around 30 years old now, so I don't know if she's still modeling. And she probably isn't anymore because she's not in her early 20s anymore. So those Maxim days, you know, it's like you got to be like an early 20-something woman in order to be in those magazines. If you're a no-name, especially if you're a celebrity, female celebrity, then you can, you know, get away with it if you're in your 30s. Speaking of hot women, we get Becky Lynch watching ringside while her other Backlash opponents had a 5-way match. Naomi, Alexa Bliss, Nikki Bella, Natalya, and Carmella, they go back and forth. At some point, they started hitting finishing moves on each other. They kept kicking out of it. Nikki would hit the Bella Buster on Natalya. Natty would kick out. Naomi would hit Nikki with her rear view finisher. Nikki would kick out, and etc., etc. And then Carmella dropped Nikki with her super kick. She gets tossed out by Alexa Bliss. Bliss gets the stolen pinfall, becomes the new #1 contender for the SmackDown Women's title. This makes perfect sense for WWE to push the hell out of Alexa Bliss right now. She's on the cover of that fitness magazine. She's a cute little blonde. She looks very young. She can cut a promo. She's not bad in the ring. She's a new face. So WWE has a lot of invested interest in her. They want to push her as a potential top star for the women's division. Alexa reminds me a little bit of somebody like a Trish Stratus mixed with Kelly. So these cute, beautiful, petite little blondes, and will probably go very far into WWE if she keeps working her ass off. We get the official Heath Slater contract signing with Shane McMahon after Heath and Rhino won the SmackDown tag titles. The crowd in Philly chanted EC-Dub, EC-Dub of course. Slater also got a pretty good reaction when he started talking. Eventually, the Ascension came out to challenge Slater and Rhino for the tag titles. Slater and Rhino apparently they won in this match. I didn't see it. I didn't see this match because it didn't show up in any of the streams that I was watching it on. So it wasn't in any of the videos when I was watching this episode of SmackDown. This thing, I don't know what the hell happened here, because the next segment, Randy Orton was coming out to the ring, and you know. So speaking of Randy Orton, he cuts a promo on Bray Wyatt in his usual monotone voice, and my name is Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt, I'm coming to get you, and this is your typical Randy Orton promo, and Bray, he started speaking from his dark compound room, all with a fog and shit like that. Then the lights go out. We see Bray at ringside. You can hear a Philly fan yelling, "You stink!" towards Bray Wyatt, which made me laugh. The lights go out against Eric Rowan, attacking Randy from behind. Eric Rowan tried to attack Randy, but Randy hits the RKO on Rowan. Eric Rowan does look cool. He looks like a cool character. He's got a cool mask. I'm sure that his action figure looks pretty cool. He's got he's a big sized guy. He's just a freaking glorified jobber at this point. He lost to The Rock in 8 seconds of WrestleMania earlier this year. If I'm not mistaken, it's like 8 seconds. So man, he just doesn't feel important. AJ Styles and James Ellsworth, a skinny jobber who, if I'm not mistaken, got squashed by Braun Strowman about 2 months ago, is set to take on John Cena and Dean Ambrose for the main event. So we get AJ, he entered the ring, and then James starts heading out to the ring. The skinny jobber gets jumped from behind by Miz. Miz attacks him, yells to the camera, "I'm the main event. You see that, Brian? I'm the main event," and joins AJ instead. AJ and the Miz, they dap it up, clap his hand. They seem to be on the same side. Ultimately, Cena hits the AA on Miz, gets the cover, 1, 2, 3. Cena's team wins it. Cena celebrates on the ropes. He's, he got hands raised. He heads down from the rope, and then he gets attacked by Dean Ambrose. Ambrose hits Cena with a Dirty Deeds DDT finisher. The crowd actually booed Dean Ambrose after this. He came off very heelish, very villainous. But is he turning heel? Is he a bad guy? Not really. He was just attacking Cena because he doesn't like Cena. He doesn't get along with him. They're not on the same page. Dean has to be some kind of tweener character, an anti-hero type of wrestler that doesn't care about the good guys or the bad guys. He's just out for himself. So whether you like him or you hate him or whatever, he's just going to be that guy. Almost like a Stone Cold back in like 97. I think that's what he's trying to do. That's the impression that I get. So that's cool, man. I mean, I like Dean Ambrose. He I don't think he's a heel. And even if it does turn heel, like, it's not a big surprise. He's kind of a lunatic character. You know, he's a lunatic, unpredictable character. I just love the crowd. The crowd was just really like, they wanted to boo the hell out of Dean, and they kind of respected Cena. So overall, a pretty decent episode of SmackDown Live, especially coming off the heels of Backlash. I can't wait until No Mercy, and also Clash of Champions. So WWE has been doing decent these particular past few months or so, especially after the draft. It's given me a reason to do these reviews, because 5 or 6 months ago, a year ago, I did not give a shit about SmackDown at all. You know, it was just a nothing show to me. So that's it for this episode of Review Space. Check out the channel for more WWE type videos, and subscribe to the channel, all that good shit. Till next time, peace.